Okay, let's get into this. We're talking about the Venus of Willendorf today. It's this, well, tiny sculpture, just a few inches high.
Right, but incredibly old, like over 25,000 years. It's one of those Paleolithic pieces that just makes you think.
It really does. Part of this huge span of art, right? Like 67,000 years people have been making things. It's kind of an enigma.
Definitely an enigma. And what's striking, I think, is that it's not a tool. It's art, symbolism. It immediately pushes back on any simple ideas about, primitive minds.
Suggest pretty sophisticated thinking, shared culture, things beyond just surviving day to day.
Exactly. And it wasn't found alone, conceptually speaking. Similar figures pop up all over Eurasia.
So that's what we want to explore in this deep dive.
Yeah.
What can this little statue tell us about early humans? Their lives, maybe their beliefs. It's tough with no writing, obviously.
All the clues are baked into the object itself and its context. That distribution you mentioned, it hints at these big shared human concerns, maybe?
No.
Or very old cultural connections?
Let's pinpoint the discovery. It was August 7th, 1908. Willendorf, Austria, near the Danube River.
Yeah, the team leads were archaeologists Sambithi, Obermeier, Bayer. But the actual find, it was apparently a workman on the excavation. Johann Verum, I think, or maybe Joseph?
Right, one of the workers. And the context is super important here. Found in what they call a Gravettian layer.
Which dates it roughly 25,000, maybe 30,000 years back. Though some think maybe a bit younger now, near a hearth, interestingly.
In an open-air camp, not deep in a cave like some other famous art.
That's a key distinction, maybe used differently. Portable art versus fixed cave paintings. Different roles.
Could be. Let's talk about the object itself. Its smell, about 11 centimeters, carved from oolitic limestone.
And here's a fascinating bit, that limestone. It's not from around Willendorf.
No. The geology suggests it might have come from near Lake Garda in Italy.
Which is, what, over 500 kilometers away? That implies a lot. Travel, trade networks, something pretty complex for that time.
It really does. And it was originally colored.
Yeah, traces of red ochre, which itself is loaded with potential symbolism, life, blood, ritual. We see ochre used a lot in prehistoric contexts.
Okay, the form. It's famous for the exaggerated body, right? Breasts, belly, hips, buttocks.
Sometimes called stetopigia, that emphasis on fatty deposits. But it's not just that. You've got a clear pubic triangle, a navel marked.
The arms are tiny, though, sort of resting on the chest, maybe bracelets shown.
Possibly. And the legs are short, tapered, no feet carved out. Seems like it was meant to be held or maybe stuck into the ground.
Or carried. And the head, no face. Just these bands, rows going across.
Could be braided hair, a woven cap, some kind of headdress, we don't know for sure. But the lack of facial features is common in these figures.
Makes it feel less like a portrait, more like an idea, an archetype.
Exactly. Focused on the body, the form, not an individual. And this fits the wider Gravettian pattern, this period around 28,000 to 22,000 years ago.
We find similar figures across Europe, into Russia even. Different materials, ivory, bone, sometimes clay.
Like those from Dolny Vastanis. But often sharing that facelessness, the small limbs, the focus on the torso, suggests a shared set of ideas or concerns during that specific time.
But we should talk about the name Venus. It's a bit loaded, isn't it? Anachronistic.
Oh, definitely. It comes from much later comparisons to classical Venus figures, obviously tied to fertility, and early interpretations leaned heavily on that mother goddess fertility charm.
But that's been challenged, right? Not all figures look pregnant or even particularly voluptuous.
Correct. Some theories suggest they could be self-portraits by women, looking down at their own bodies. Feminist archaeology has broadened the view women as creators, users, with meanings perhaps related to womanhood, ancestors, even teaching tools.
Or amulets. Symbols of abundance, social identity, could be many things.
Probably. And comparing helps. Look at the Holfels figure, much older. Or contemporaries like Lesboug with its weird skirt-like form, or Lassel with the horn.
Dolny Vastanis made of fired clay. Brasampui, which does have facial features.
Right. That diversity makes a single, universal explanation, like just fertility, seem unlikely.
It's also worth mentioning things that aren't these Venus's types.
Yeah.
Like the Lion Man.
Ah, yes, the Hollenstein-Stadel figure. Much older, Aurignacian, maybe 40,000 years old. Half human, half lion.
Totally different category.
Yeah.
Shows incredible imagination, abstract thought, maybe shamanism. Found in a cave, unlike Willendorf.
Shows the range of symbolic expression back then. And the skill making these things wasn't trivial.
You mean the techniques?
Yeah, carving stone or ivory with basically stone tools, flint knives, burins, abrading, polishing. It took time, serious effort, hundreds of hours for something complex like the Lion Man.
So these weren't just casual doodles, they were important. Socially, maybe spiritually.
Absolutely. They had value, they required investment.
So the Venus of Willendorf, it remains this powerful little icon, symbol of early human art, but still debated.
And maybe the definitive meaning is lost to us. But studying it, thinking about it, absolutely enriches our picture of Paleolithic life, their minds, their societies.
They're like silent voices, testifying to a really deep history of human creativity.
And our fascination with them today says something about us too, I think. Our need to connect with origins, with the roots of art and belief.
Of course, we have to be aware of our own biases when we interpret.
Always. Which leads to a final thought for you, listening. How can this tiny, ancient object with no face, no identity, how can it still spark so many different interpretations, so much thought about what it means to be human, and the whole mystery of what people believed so long ago?